Today, you're gonna learn how to master your song in Pro Tools. What's up? I'm Macro from Mixing with Macro. I'm a mixing and mastering engineer, and I've done recording and mixing for major record labels and many independent artists. And my goal is to help you streamline your recording and mixing process for fast and consistent results. Now, before we get into how to master your song, you have to have a great mix. That's why I outlined all my plugins, all my settings, and my vocal chains, even my mastering chain, inside of a 5-step cheat sheet that you can read in just 10 minutes. And it will take you from an average sounding song to a great sounding song in less than 30 minutes. So go ahead and check it out. It's absolutely free in the description of this video. It is my gift to you. Let's jump into how to master your song. I'm gonna show you how to master your song after you get it mixed. Remember, get the cheat sheet. It's my gift to have you create a crazy mix that'll make your master sound even crazier, because your master is nothing without your solid mix. So I got a DM from someone who wanted to thank me for the cheat sheet, and especially the part of the cheat sheet that talked about my mastering chain, which is very simple. Depending on the material, I would use an EQ, but usually I don't use an EQ because all of that is done in the mixing process. But yeah, he was very happy that it only took 3 plugins to get to a solid master, because I showed them the settings, I showed them the order of plugins, and the thinking behind why I use those plugins in that way. Now, this is a video version of that part of the cheat sheet. Now, I have these 3 plugins here, and it's very easy to use. Now, let's listen to the material that we're working with. If you don't know what these are folders. I have my vocals in there, the beats in there, 2-track beat, and all my effects stuff is in there. All right, so let's listen to it.
Catch a nigga right before 9, I bet we hurt you. All our wins was low, but never went out like we Urkel. You got that money, never split. Roll through the trenches, a nigga reach, a nigga hand gone. Remember, everything that you said is what you gon' stand on. Fuck it, got a little bit of paper, put my mans on. Tell them shit in private if my man's wrong. You niggas never move like the mafia. Oh, spot him, we shot at him. Whoa, round.
Alright, so this is what we're working with. He's a really good artist from Kanii, Brooklyn, going crazy. Shouts out to him. We are looking at these 3 plugins here in this case. Now, every case is different. This is a way that you can generally master, and I use the word master loosely. Understand that mastering is a skill that is studied for many years. What we're doing here is a pseudo master. Now, I'm bringing some of the concept in from mastering to our mixing session here. Ideally, you want to bounce out the entire song and then do a master. All right, but we're mastering it right here. This is for you to, boom, you got your mix done, master it, make it sound nice and loud, ready for streaming services. The first plugin in the chain is the trim. Now, why do we have the trim? Simply because to give us headroom. So let's just say we did our mix, and by the time it gets to our mastering bus here, we want to make sure we have enough headroom so we can make it even louder without distorting in a bad way. Now let's see where a trim is hitting at.
Things that you ain't supposed to catch that straight like curfew. Catch a nigga right before 9, I bet we hurt you. All our wins was low, but remember, everything that you said is what you gon' stand on. Fuck it, got a little bit of paper. Tell them shit in private if my man's wrong. You niggas never move like the mafia. Oh, spot him, we shot at him. Whoa, round table, anytime we talk is about dollars. You niggas.
Now I like to have mine hitting around -6, so let's hit it around -6.
Like the mafia, oh, spot him, we shot at him. Whoa, round table, anytime we talk is about dollars. You niggas pussy, I'm honest. I'm still broke, I don't got it. She gon' suck while I'm driving. 6 steps, we arriving. We talking planes on the pilot, key to the streets, I'ma lock it. Niggas worry about boxing.
So around -6 is cool. We can see we have a lot of headroom here as well.
Like the mafia, oh, spot him, we shot at him. Whoa, pussy, I'm honest. I'm still broke, I don't got it. She gon' suck while I'm driving. 6 steps.
Still in the green. Now the next plugin I have here is my R compressor. Now you can use a different type of compressor if you like. It's not set in stone. However, this is a plugin I like to use, and the purpose of this plugin is to add a little bit of glue. It's to make the beat and the vocals sit even better together, like pull them together. All right, it's kind of like making a sandwich. When I use this, is like you have your meat, lettuce, tomato, cheese, and this compressor is the bread on the top and bottom. very simple. And you're not gonna squeeze your sandwich together. You're just gonna put your bread at the top, put your bread at the bottom, and squeeze it just enough that it holds everything together, all the ingredients together. So that's the purpose of this, and I'll show you exactly how to use it and dial it in. So let's look at this. See, we're sitting, nothing is happening right now, so we're gonna pop in and see what's up. Let's go.
Suck while I'm driving, 6 steps we arriving. We talking planes on the pilot, key to the streets, I'ma lock it. Niggas worry about boxing, my locals worry about profit. Holla at your blood, he be wildin', you know that 40 start knocking. Money low, we start robbing. And my cuz on the island, and my ripping the greens. He said the bloodhouse get tragic. Got no words for his mans, he with the ops and the static. I play my cards like a man, anything you want, you can have it. Got no gun, we gon' stab him. Dead ops, we gon' match him. I knew she came right from the island, never knew. Suck while I'm driving, 6 steps we arriving. We talking planes on the pilot, key.
And I'm playing back the part that has a lot more kicks because it's a louder part of the song. So I want to see where the loudest part of the song is going to hit, and then I dial it in.
Pussy, I'm honest, I'm still broke, I don't got it. She gon' suck while I'm driving, 6 steps we arriving. We talking planes on the pilot, key to the streets, I'ma lock it. Niggas worry about boxing, my locals worry about profit. Holla at your blood, he be wildin', you know that 40 start knocking. I'm honest, I'm still broke, I don't got it. She gon' suck while I'm driving, 6 steps we arriving. We talking planes on the pilot, key to the street. And
keep in mind, this stage of compression, you don't want to hear the compression working at all. This is just to add a little bit of glue to it too. Just hold everything together just a little bit. We don't want to over compress here. We don't want to under compress here either, because you know what's the point of a compressor if you're gonna not use it. However, attack somewhat fast but very slow release, because again, you have to understand the material you're working with. This particular song don't have a steady beat that's going through the entire song. So if you go to this part,
gun, we gon' stab him. Dead ops, we gon' match him. I knew she came right from the island, never knew she was a freak though. Wait, middle of
most of it is not the beat happening. So for that, I'm just gonna find the loudest part.
He be wildin', you know that 40 start knocking. Money low, we start robbing. And my cuz on the island.
And it's gonna take a little bit of listening to hear. It's something that you're not gonna hear, but I promise you it's there.
He be wildin', you know that 40 start knocking. Money low, we start robbing. And my cuz on the island. And my ripping the greens. He said the bloodhouse get tragic. Got no words for his mans. He with the ops and the static. I play my cards like a man. Anything you want, you can have it. Got no gun, we gon' stab him. Dead ops, we gon' match him. I knew she came right from the island. Never knew she was a freak though. Wait, middle of the trenches, Puerto Rico. Keep that shit anywhere and everywhere where we go. 3 bitches, trio. Head crack, CeeLo. Wait, you try and step around with steppers, get your steps right. Step left, 4 or 5 on it. Any city had you bench press. Told you ain't never have to rain for you to get wet. You gon' need a lot of bed rest. We gon' need a lot of dollars. Stack through the McQueen and I'ma need a lot of Prada. Yeah, just know the door's open. Always gon' have a Ramada for you homeless niggas. Don't give me that cause I don't know you niggas. She make her body shake, panicking.
Alright, and that's just the whole things together. Now, we have our limiter. Now, the limiter is where we go in and we make things loud. See, we have a lot of headroom. We have the trim to give us headroom. We then have a compressor that's going to hold a little bit of that glue together, that bread that's going to hold our meat, cheese, lettuce, and tomato together. And now we have our limiter.
Niggas worry about boxing, my locals worry about profit. Holla at your blood, he be wildin', you know that 40 start.
So what I'm doing here, I'm gonna pull down the threshold until I start to see some attenuation here.
Streets, I'ma lock it. Niggas worry about boxing, my locals worry about profit. Holla at your blood, he be wildin', you know that 40 start knocking. Money low, we start robbing. And my cuz on the island. And my ripping the greens, he said the bloodhouse get tragic. Got no words.
Alright. Between 3 and 6, like that's where the sweet spot is. That's where a nice amount of loudness happens before it starts sounding weird. And for my out ceiling, I do -1, so just in case it starts to really tap out, it's not gonna go put my meters in the red. Let me push the threshold even more so you can hear why you don't want to push the threshold all the way down here. Listen.
She gon' suck while I'm driving. 6 steps we arriving. We talking planes on the
horrible. Too much attenuation is happening. So around 3 to 6 is fine for me.
She gon' suck while I'm driving. 6 steps we arriving. We talking planes on the pilot, key to the streets, I'ma lock it. Niggas worry about boxing, my locals worry about profit. Holla at your blood, he be wildin', you know that 40 start knocking. Money low, we start robbing. And my cuz on the island. And my ripping the greens. He said the bloodhouse get tragic. Got no words for his man.
The limiter is doing a lot of heavy lifting here. So because we have a lot of headroom here, between -6 and -3 is a part I like to play with. So let's disable these 2 plugins here and give it a little bit more headroom.
Worry about boxing, my locals worry about profit. Holla at your blood, he be wildin', you know that 40 start knocking. Money low, we start robbing, and my cuz on the island.
All right, now because we push more into the trim here, we added more gain instead of taking away more gain so we can hit in this sweet spot. We're gonna have more input coming into our compressor, so we have to adjust as necessary.
Worry about boxing, my locals worry about profit. Holla at your blood, he be wildin', you know that 40 start knocking. Money low, we start robbing, and my cuz on the island. Am I ripping the greens? He said the bloodhouse get tragic. Got no words for his mans, he with the ops and the static. I play my cards like a man, anything you want, you can have it. Got no gun, we gon' stab him. Dead ops, we gon' match him. I knew she came right from the island, never knew she was a freak though. Money low, we start robbing.
And the same is gonna happen for our limiter because we're pushing more gain out of our trim. We have more gain coming out of our mix.
Money low, we start robbing, and my cuz on the island.
See, I was hitting past 6, so let's ease up.
Money low, we start robbing, and my cuz on the island. Am I ripping the greens? He said the bloodhouse get tragic. Got no words for his mans, he with the ops and the static. I play my cards like a man, anything you want, you can have it. Got no gun, we gon' stab him. Dead ops, we gon' match him. I knew she came right from the island. We go, 3 bitches, trio, head crack, CeeLo. Wait, oh, you try to step around with steppers, get your steps right. Step left, 4 or 5 on it, any cinch, he had you bench press. Told you we ain't never have to rain for you to get wet. You gon' need a lot of bed rest. We gon' need.
All right, so let's A/B it and keep in mind as you're adding your pseudo master to the song here, you want to go to the loudest part of the song so you can get the most energy going into your plugins, so you can adjust the levels and adjust it to your ears. It sounds decent, and with that technique you're going to have the quieter parts, or the parts that are not as loud, they will take care of themselves. So let's A/B all the plugins for a before and after.
Blood, he be wildin', you know that 40 start knocking. Start knocking, money low, we start robbing, and my cuz on the island. And my blood, he be wildin', you know that 40 start knocking. Money low, we start robbing, and my cuz on the island. On it, any cinch, he had you bench press. Told you we ain't never have to rain for you to get wet. You gon' need a lot of bed rest. We gon' need a lot of dollars. Stack through the McQueen, and I'ma need a lot of Prada. Yeah, just know the doors open, always gon' have a Ramada for you homeless niggas. Don't give me that, cause I don't know you niggas. She make her body shake, panicking. Every pretty bitch come with a man and shit. I'm just trying to fuck, skip the romantic shit. Tell them you broken, watch how a nigga start vanish. Wait, you needed some money, I needed you to be my mans and shit. All this hate, I'm getting used to this. If I die.
Alright, so I'm gonna show you one little plugin that I use to test things in WLM, and it is great to see a good target in the short term. And again, you want to go to the loudest part of your song to test this.
On it, any cinch, he had you bench press. Told you we ain't never have to rain for you to get wet. You gon' need a lot of bed rest. We gon' need a lot of dollars. Stack through the McQueen, and I'ma need a lot of.
-11, -10 is good. -9 is good as well, and I would even push it as far as -8, -7. But then in that case, you're going to be getting a lot of distortion. You'd have to go to different stages. This is more of an advanced tip. You got to go to different stages to push a little bit more gain, so you're not overworking your plugins. All right, so let's get like a nice sweet spot. We're just going to focus here on this master bus. So let's get a nice sweet spot going here.
On it, any cinch, he had you bench press. Told you we ain't never have to rain for you to get wet. You gon' need a lot of bed rest. We gon' need a lot of dollars. Stack through the McQueen, and I'ma need a lot of Prada. Yeah, just know the doors open, always gon' have a Ramada for you homeless niggas. Don't on it, any cinch, he had you bench press. Told you we ain't never have to rain for you to get wet. You gon' need a lot of bed rest. We gon' need a lot of dollars. Stack through the McQueen, and I'ma need a lot of Prada. Yeah, just know the doors open, always gon' have a Ramada for you homeless niggas. Don't give me that, cause I don't know you niggas. She make her body shake, panicking. Every pretty bitch come with a man and shit. I'm just trying to fuck, skip the romantic shit. Tell them you broken, watch how a nigga start vanish.
All right, so that's how you master a song, and it comes with a different type of mindset because you're not overdoing anything besides maybe a little bit more limiting. You're going to be pushing that a little bit to get that loudness that you're looking for. But when it comes to compression of your overall song, you don't push it a lot. If you decide to use an EQ on your overall song, just say you want to make it a little bit brighter or a little bit darker, you do not push it a lot on your overall song. I appreciate you sticking around. Now you have a great master on your song. Implement these techniques into your mix today to make it sound complete so you can be ready to upload it to streaming services as soon as possible. And remember, you need a solid mix before you even think about adding a master to your song. So go ahead and check the description. I invite you to check it out and enjoy that gift. See you in the next video. Peace.